Were you satisfied with the 2025 class?
I got blown away. It's funny. I've said it a couple times. Like when we were all debating what needed to happen, who needed to get fired, they needed to bring in, how fast this needed to happen. You need to get a quarterback in. I thought they like 9 out of 10 hit everything. Not checked it off on the checklist. Like the age of the staff, being able to recruit, in a different way, all these things. Bringing somebody in that wasn't necessarily a yes man for Norvell, could stand on his own, had his own name and things like that. And I believe we were number 52 when the firings happened, or by the time the smoke settled after the firings, and they ended up landing at 19 in the high school rankings, which is like, it wasn't a departure from any of the previous 5 recruiting classes that Norvell had. I mean, I think the highest we got was like number 12 or 13. So you're able to jump 30 spots. It was by far the best close of any Mike Norvell recruiting class, to get 7 flips, I believe, in the final 2 days of the recruiting class, surprise commitments. Yeah, it was really a thing of beauty. Only so much you can ask for in a short period of time. And I think, again, it bodes well for the future. But at the end of the day, we can't kid ourselves. They have to have the confidence of the kids that they're going to be there for the next 2 or 3 years and be building something special. So that's why I kind of say FSU recruiting will really heat up about October of next year when we see what kind of products on the field. But in the meantime, they're doing everything they can and, obviously getting after it. Also, one angle of this that I could mention that is a lot different this year. I mentioned Odell staying. People are used to hearing analyst, assistant coach this, associate that. And it was really just glorified it, an analyst. Pretty much anybody that wasn't one of the 10 on the field coaches, very limited in what they could do. Contact with the kids while they're on the football field, recruiting and things of that nature. With the new rules with the associate coaches, one of them at a time can go out on the road, but it's not one designated person. So we have Ernie Sims in one of these roles as an off-field coach, what was previously known as an analyst. He's an associate linebackers coach. We can send Ernie Sims out on the road to recruit just like any of the other 10 coaches, which is pretty freaking cool. We can send Odell out the next week and go recruit on the road with some of the, whatever defensive tackle is really in love with him and was big in his recruitment. And on down the list of the different associates you bring in. If you bring in a guy that's retired or whatever the heck the case is as a head coach, as an analyst, if he's got a name, you can send him out on the recruiting trail. I thought that was pretty cool. It threw me back for a loop. I kept seeing like Ernie Sims on the trail, this guy on the trail. I'm like, how is this possible? I know they're not all allowed to recruit, but the way the rule was explained to me, pretty much one of those guys can go out at any given time with the rest of the coaches in the group at high schools, just like a full-time coach. So it's pretty cool, the new rules with these guys being able to coach on the field basically, and now also be able to hit the road and recruit.
So who do we expect to make a splash early? Who has the most opportunity, do you think, the most talent or the most opportunity based on position need to make a big splash, a big impact immediately?
Out of high school?
Yeah.
Kevin Wynn has got to be the first name you say. Defensive line is one of the harder positions to make an impact early, but with his size and the way he dominated kind of the kids at his age, the Under Armour game and practices throughout the week, he's got a chance to come in and be like the number 2 D tackle immediately, or the 0 guy behind Daryl Jackson. If he does that and he's making that kind of an impact, it'll be hard to beat, that. He's the highest ranked recruit we've had, I think, since Marvin Wilson on the interior. We'll see. Will he be better than Marvin? Is he somewhere between Marvin and Timmy Jernigan? If that happens, Florida State's very happy. But one that you don't hear a ton from people, and maybe I'm projecting a little bit here, but Javon Boggs, the name right there on the screen. I feel like with the loss of Destin Hill, of course, you're able to get Squirrel White in at the slot receiver. I just feel like Javon Boggs, I believe he won Gatorade Player of the Year again for like the second year. I think he won it maybe a sophomore year as well, or maybe 2 years in a row. Short guy, but somebody that I feel like Gus Malzahn could use in his offense. And if he's is consistent catching the ball and doing everything he did in high school and college, I could see him possibly making an impact pretty early for sure.